I'm gonna get fired. The whole company is gonna know. I'm gonna lose my job. Like, how am I gonna get money? You know, how am I gonna pay my bills? Like, my mind went from A to F real quick. Oh, hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Vibe Coach. I'm a certified life and health coach. And on this channel, I like to talk about mental health and how they go together, helping you to create a better life for yourself, help you to create the life that you really want for yourself. So in today's video, I want to talk about anxiety. The reason I want to talk about anxiety is because I feel like a lot of people today have it. And I personally struggle with anxiety for so many years. But over the years, I learned how to cope and how to manage my anxiety without the help of prescription drugs, which I'll get into the story of me being on that. But I've learned how to manage my anxiety, and I have little to none anxiety today. So if you have anxiety, or you struggle with anxiety, or you know someone who struggles with anxiety, please keep watching this video, because I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can minimize your anxiety starting right now. So tip number 1, your diet. Your diet plays such a huge role in your mental health, because if you think about it, what you're putting in your body has a direct link to the rest of your body, and your gut has a brain too. I know that sounds really weird, but it does. That's why I talk about gut health so much. It's true. Your gut has its own brain. So whatever you're feeding your gut, your gut, your tummy, it's going to have a direct link to your mind. So if you're eating a lot of sugar, for example, you eat sugar, your blood sugar spikes up, and then when the sugar wears off, it crashes. And then when you eat sugar again, it goes up, and then when you need it again, it crashes. And then you're on this blood sugar roller coaster. You're going up and down and up and down. Well, so is your mood. Your mood is doing the same thing. It's going up and down, because when you're down and you really need that sugar high, feeling like crap because you're like, oh, I really need some sugar, and then you're not going to feel good until you eat that candy or you have that snack. So decreasing the amount of sugar intake is going to level out your blood sugar. So you're going to go from this to this. And when you think about it, what does prescription drugs do for people with anxiety? It takes you from being all like this to this. It levels you out. It's called a SSRI. And that's what they do. It levels you out. So if you can minimize the amount of sugar that you take to level out your blood sugar, it's going to also have a dramatic impact on your mood, because it's going to level your mood out as well. Number 2 thing that you could do to minimize your anxiety without prescription drugs is stop drinking coffee. So coffee also takes you like on this up and down thing. So you get your spike when you drink your coffee, and you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. But then when that wears off, you either need another cup of coffee, or you want sugar. You want to get that high back that you had from your coffee. So those who struggle with anxiety, that the jitters that coffee kind of gives you, that's not helping the anxiousness that you're feeling when you're having anxiety. So coffee, I remember I used to drink coffee every single day before work. And this particular job gave me anxiety. So, but on top of that, the coffee wasn't helping. Like, the coffee kind of got me through that, power through in the morning. But then when it wore off, I needed another cup, because then, I was still getting anxiety, and I needed something to kind of mask that. So I was just in this never-ending circle of anxiety and drinking coffee and needing more coffee. And the more you drink coffee, the less impact that it has on you, because your body it becomes used to it. So then that doesn't work. I would definitely recommend stop drinking coffee, because you're not going to have that up and down spike or those jitters. It's going to eliminate that from the equation, and that's going to help you be more mellow and leveled out naturally. Also, just another tips, when I stopped drinking coffee, I started to run on my own body's energetic levels without like the fake energy that coffee gives you. I have more energy since I stopped drinking coffee, which is, most people would be like, what do you mean? So yes, that's another tip. Stop drinking coffee. And that also goes for energy drinks too, like the Bangs, the Red Bulls, any caffeine. Just cut caffeine out altogether. Tip number 3, get off social media. Take a break. Humans are not wired to, mentally wired to have access to anybody at any time to see what they're doing, but we have it. If you think about back in the 90s, we didn't know what people were doing unless we called them on the phone and they told us. Now you can go on your phone at any given point in time and see what people are doing. And if you think about how many people are in the world, 7 billion people are in the world, how many of those people have social media? Probably all of them. Millions and millions of people who have social media, you could just go on and look at their live and see what they're doing. The negative thing about that is we start to compare ourselves to these people. We start to look at another person that's our age, and we're like, well, she's my age and she's doing all of this. Now I should be doing all of that. And if you're not doing all of that, you feel lesser than, or you feel inadequate, or you feel like you're behind. And when you feel like you're behind, you have that feeling of you gotta catch up. And you either have that feeling of I gotta catch up, or you're having that feeling of, damn, I should be doing something. I should be doing something more, but I'm not. And what is anxiety? It's thinking about the future. Constantly your mind's in the future. You're not in the now, So when you're constantly thinking, what you should be doing, and if you don't do this, what could happen, that brings a level of anxiety. So take a break from social media. I do all the time. I did social distancing before social distancing was social distancing. I take a couple months off of social media at least once a year, and it just allows me to really hone in the world around me and also the world within me. Who am I? Who I truly am. What is around me that I could be grateful for and appreciate. It helps me to look around me in my space, in my physical world, to appreciate what it is that I have, and to also go within and get to know myself a little better. Tune in and tap into the, who I truly am, and nurture my wants and my needs without the influence of the outside world. What's true to you will always be true to you. You just gotta, take out the distractions. And that's what taking out social media is gonna help you do, is to eliminate those distractions from you really figuring out what makes you happy and what gives you peace. The fourth thing that you could do to help eliminate anxiety is to exercise. So exercise is a great way to get out a lot of stress. I know, when I either lift weights or when I go for a run, I feel so amazing after it. It allows your mind to just kind of zone out and be free. And then after a workout, your body just feels so much looser and just, not so uptight. So that definitely is a great way to push out that angst, that anxiousness. My best and most creative ideas come from going on a run. Also, it helps to clear your mind, because if you're in your head so much, you start to think too much. The number 5 way to help you minimize your anxiety without the help of prescription drugs is journaling. Journaling has been a savior to me over the past 5 years since I started. Well, actually, I've been journaling since I was a kid. Like, I had diaries growing up, but like as an adult, I've been journaling for like 5 years. Journaling is a game changer because when we have anxiety because we're either thinking too much, or you're thinking too much in the future, you're thinking about what if, you're thinking about what if not, you're just thinking way too much about something that isn't even real, a situation that hasn't even happened yet. So what do we got to do with those thoughts? We got to get them out of here and we got to put them on paper. That way we can look at them from a different perspective and, really be like, is this something that I really should worry about? So for example, I'll give you an example. I remember I made a huge mistake at work. It was pretty big, and instantly my anxiety went through the roof because I'm like, I'm gonna get fired. The whole company is gonna know. I'm gonna lose my job. Like, how am I gonna get money? How am I gonna pay my bills? Like, my mind went from A to F real quick. I wrote down exactly what I was thinking, and I answer myself. I do this often. So if I'm having an anxious thought, I write down, okay, why am I anxious? I'm anxious because I made a mistake at work, and I am afraid that I'll get fired. Why do you think you'll get fired? And then I'll write that. And I'll say, has anyone gotten fired because of this before? I don't know. Have you talked to your boss about this yet? No, I haven't. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big do you think your boss may think this problem? I just kept like asking and answering. Or I'll just write down my feelings. And then I ask myself, what can I do to minimize this feeling of anxiety? I can directly talk to my boss about this problem and tell him the situation and be apologetic and see what happens. Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is going to happen. Regardless if you're nervous about it, regardless if whatever. Regardless of what you think is going to happen, the actual situation is going to happen. And it's 9 times out of 10 is not going to be as bad as you think it's going to be. So I wrote down all my feelings instead of just sitting there in my thoughts that aren't real because, I'm thinking in the future. I reached out to my boss first before him coming to me, and I said, hey, this happened, totally my fault. I took responsibility for what I did, and I apologized for it, and I made myself an action step for the future. I said, going forward, I will XYZ. And guess what he said? Oh, it's all good, no biggie. I'm glad that you learned from it and you took something away from it. So yeah, and I'm sure it's something that we can fix. And that was it. Like, I went through all of that for nothing. And all I had to do was face it head on. So journaling helps, and along with that, facing the issue head on. After you journal, after you write down all your feelings and all your thoughts, get them from the headspace and put them in the reality space so you can really look at it and be like, okay, this is my feelings. And it's normal to feel that way. It's normal to feel anxious and worried and have concerns for a situation, but writing it out will get it all out from your head. Because when your thoughts are in your head, your thoughts they have a family reunion up there. Like, they all talk to each other, and then they branch off into more thoughts, and then those thoughts branch off into more thoughts, and then it's just all in your head, and it drives you crazy. And it's like I have heart palpitations too. My thoughts all up there talking, So get the thoughts out of your head, put it on paper, and then make a move. Talk to who you need to talk to. Go directly to the source of your anxiety and have that difficult conversation. Because I promise you, it is not going to be as bad as you thought. And if it is, well, I'm sorry. But it won't be. It won't be. It never is. These are my 5, kind of like 6 tips on how you can minimize your anxiety. And I've had anxiety for a very long time, 10 plus years, maybe 15, I don't know. But once I implemented these habits into my life, I have little to no anxiety now. Like, I have one-off situations where I'll have like anxiety about something, but then I'll journal and then I'll go to the source. And I stopped drinking coffee. I eliminated sugar from my diet by like 80%. So all these things have just made me naturally be able to respond to anxiety different than I used to. So hopefully these tips will help you out as well. And I am not a doctor, so I'm not saying that don't take your prescription drugs if you are prescribed. Some of us do need prescription drugs, and I'm not saying like throw them away or sell them on the street for money and do what I say. I'm saying that these are things that help me to stop taking prescription drugs and naturally heal and cure my anxiety. Hopefully these tips have been helpful to you. I wish you the best of luck in your journey to curing your anxiety as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.